All right, thank you for staying with the Monday Report. The town hall discussion is still continuing right now. I see a lot of your feedback. I'll sample a few of them right now. Gadara says, problem is we've not had a full independent audit of the electoral system. Rather than comprehensive change, we are offered short-term minimum reforms which cater to the interest of politicians, not those of voters. And Asamo says the biggest threat to electoral democracy and accountability is IEBC Kenya. Why would IEBC be forced by a court to do its constitutional mandate? And then we also have John Mwenda, who says most people are saying that they won't vote in 2022 because most of those that they voted in have underperformed. And that is the main concern for him there. Daniel Kise says, is there anything as an honest politician? We are over-legislated with a very comprehensive constitution, yet we have all these challenges. I doubt any new proposals will change anything. Let's come to the audience and get the questions. Just start with your name and then go into your questions or concern.
My name is Nisera, a resident of Kibera, and today being the start of the 16 days of activism, I want to remember the women, children, and men who have died during the post-election violence, and those women who were raped, the children, and the men who were sodomized, and up to date, they've never gotten justice. And my big issue would be historical injustices. As much as we are talking about election and divisiveness, we have some issues that have never been tackled, and we have some few leaders who want to protect their dynasties. And that is what is killing us as Kenyans. And going back to our informal settlement, there are people, there are politicians who their brains were extracted, and there were leaders that their brains were extracted and are replaced with, I don't know, some porridge, because I don't know the reason as to why you would sit as politicians and make sure the status quo remain in Kibera, in Mathare, so as these people can vote for you.
Okay.
They know very well that if these youth are empowered, they'll never vote for them again.
Okay.
Going to the solution.
Yeah, very briefly.
Trevor, I would say if we rock Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, and Ruto somewhere in a house, and then come 2022, we do election without them, I think this country will be back to normal. Okay.
Let's pass the microphone to the next person. Yes, start with your name and state your concern or question.
My name is Nicholas Kimanzi. I am a researcher and the President Economic Liberation Front. I think it's good to be very honest. Even I can see my governor here, that the issue about elections is not the institutions. It is the economic slavery that has been happening in this country for 56 years. Because people are slaves. And when you show them money, they wait for this election every 5 years so that they can disentangle themselves from this slavery. And nobody is talking about the slavery that is going on in this country. Instead, people want to come with, I don't know, papers, BPIs, I don't know, constitutions. The issue is not constitution, Trevor. Because if you look Kidney, when the first Prime Minister took power, he said he's going to deal with the poverty, ignorance, and disease. 55 years later, we are dealing with ignorance, poverty, and disease. So, in other words, every election cycle, we are all looking forward so that we can take these economic handcuffs so that we can move forward. And that is why it is a matter of life and death for some of us. Going forward, maybe we should have the president tomorrow and his elder brother, receiving a paper that seeks to bring this country out of economic quagmire that we are finding ourselves in, instead of going round in a game of musical chairs, yet we're going nowhere.
What would you like to see in the BBI report? From where you stand, what would you want them to capture?
I would want them to capture a situation or an idea. I wish it was some panel of policy experts and economic experts that are trying to tell us that, look, this country is going to the dogs. And the thievery and the stealing that has been happening, this is the way to go about it.
Okay.
In economic sense, not politically.
Okay.
Because this is an economic war that is fought politically.
All right.
Yes.
Right, pass the microphone to him. Just start with your name and then state your concern.
My name is Michael Mbongai, an economist by profession, Secretary General, the Economic Liberation Front. Now, I'm very disappointed and still puzzled that the panel here are trying to beat around the bush instead of hitting the nail on the head. Why am I saying that? Kenya, the main problem that we have has nothing to do with institutions. It has nothing to do with elections. The problem is that the basis of our country is politics and not economy. It is the politics of the day that determine the economy of the nation. Now, having said that, the nation is based on what is known as turbo capitalists. Those are the people who are ruling this nation. The nation has been crippled economically, purely intentionally, to make the have-nots remain in their cocoons so that the elections can be a system of lying to them, that they can actually come out of those cocoons. Now, what this nation needs is an economic liberation. We are in need of that and in need of it. What you hear our panelists here telling us is that maybe we need a presidential system. But how do you build a system of governance empty on an economy? You first build a system of economy on top of it. That is where the politics play. Good economies run on what are systems structure such that at a time whereby you need leaders, they change very little in terms of the way things run. That is not the case in our country. And that is why we, the young people, have realized that politicians have actually become people who run around circles. They want to ensure that the poor people in this nation remain as poor as possible. Okay. Then they play the role of messiahs, lying to us that they are going to actually take us out of poverty, while all they do is to ensure that they have not remain in their circles. Okay. To finish this, let me say that the solution that we are coming up with, we as the young people, we are telling people that your true tribe is the person who belongs to the same economic circle as you are in. That is your true tribesmate. Because in Kenya, we don't have 42 tribes. We only have 2 tribes. The haves and the have-nots. Okay. People who have created a system of monarch wealth to ensure that wealth revolves around their families as they cripple the rest of us economically.
All right. Prof, how do we fix the system? You've had the concerns from the people.
Well, I think, first of all, in terms of how we base our politics, they are not ideologically based. In the sense of the political parties, you don't get a political party which defines itself and says that this is the agenda that we stand for, this is our vision. And I think this is a point we have tried to make all the time, saying that these parties are personal charters and they are formed on ethnic basis. Yeah. So what the gentleman is trying to do is beginning to say that even for political parties or whatever movement of change needs to be crafted in terms of a defined ideology. Yeah. And even in South Africa, where there is like a sister party, I don't think that is what Malema is doing. He's also kind of captured already. So unless these people before us, these young people themselves, and maybe other like-minded politicians or people want change, begin to say that this is the vision, and it is a vision which wants the majority to have a good life, a good situation within a country, within Africa, based on Ubuntu, based on equality. Unless, that conversation, we haven't really had it in this country. People have tried to have it, like Koigi, like Mkaru, Wangari Maathai, during the change of the constitutional movement and so on. Yeah. Their voices have been muffled, So, yes, I am also expecting that any proposals for changing our country will be based on more than just politics, who will be in power and so on. So that, for example, you look at we have a youth bulge. We have, endemic youth unemployment. Yeah. How do you solve that? So that really you're now dealing with, even when you say, okay, more money to the counties, devolution. But how is that devolution going to be structured so that it's also beneficial to the majority of the people in the rural area? So we can change the laws, yes. We can change the constitution, yes. But if we don't change the culture of our politics, the culture of even our citizenry in terms of not just saying that I'm following somebody from my tribe, yeah, and so on, it still won't work. We'll still keep on going round and round. And maybe this idea of sharing power so that the power is not really concentrated. I would even myself be a little radical and say, if you changed even to say that half the people in leadership must be between like 20 and 40, young people, but also young people want change, not young people who don't want change. If you had, radical things like that, so that you also raise the next generation of leadership. But having said that, young people, if you're waiting for us to say that, we are changing things radically for you, you'll wait until the cows come home. You have to be active so that you say that this is what we are putting on the table. Yeah. We want some change so that we are part of this system on the continent and so on. So that we don't have to wait for Sudan, we don't have to wait for, you say that this is what I want. And if this that I want does not happen soon, yeah, my patience is also running out. Okay. So I think it is important for young people to know that you will be part of the solution of your problem, of our problem. They don't just say, these guys who are older, yeah, must provide the solution, yeah, must provide the solution. And just to conclude, I think the way in which we have run our politics so that the power really belongs to just a small group, I think that is not sustainable anymore. And it's not just a question of changing the power to say that we want people from this ethnic group to have a seat and that ethnic group to have a seat. We need to go beyond that and also say that, what about sectors? What is it that realistically is being done so that, for example, the youth of Kenya, yeah, are included? Those who are marginalized, who for a long time have not really enjoyed Kenya. Yeah. What is it that is happening? Like for a long time, the equalization fund was never disbursed. And this was some fund which was beginning to equalize people who had been marginalized for a long. So we need to think, as we talk about constitutional changes, yeah, or whatever changes, we need to really, even the historical injustice question which was raised, to ask ourselves, how did people suffer? How did people lose their land? How did people get hurt in the massacres and so on? What's the solution? So that we really heal our country. And
we have reports on this, Governor, TJRC, the Kriegler report, several of them, they're just, yeah, not being implemented. Yeah. But there's a concern here from one of the, you just start with your name and then give us your concern or question. Go ahead.
Thank you. I am Joseph Gitua. I'm a young leader and a political reader incoming. First of all, I would begin by putting two sentiments that cut across and some of the opinions that ride across the people. That it is normally said, in Kenya, it doesn't, what matters, it is not who votes, but who counts the vote. That is the opinion that cuts across. And number two, that Kenyan politics you never lose, but they're always stolen. And based on what I've said, I want to somehow downplay this concept we are talking of, sharing and actually involving most of us in leadership. That is not the problem per se. Because if we could see, there are so many tribes have been included in the government, in the parastatals, in the national government. They are included all over. But the problem here comes with political individuals. You will know that since long ago, and for instance, if I may say, in the 2017 general election that we had several presidential contestants. And some of them, most of them actually, they conceded defeat. But there are some few individuals, and you know them, who have always never accepted defeat. And because these people know they have got a large crowd of people following them, and sorry to say, some follow them blindly. You will hear some people say that because so and so told me to do this, I'll do it. And that is one of the problems. But because these people know that they have got a large crowd following them, they will always raise issues because they know they have got backing. And therefore, what we need to agree, it is to change the political DNA of some leaders and tell them that it is not, this concept that it is me, and if it is not me, then nobody else. Okay. That is what we need to change. All right. Let us accept that you can lose and somebody else can be better than you. Okay. And therefore, to solve this, what we need to do, like former governor of Bomet did, he considered defeat several years ago. And I think you need to go to other leaders and tell them it is also possible to, to vie in an election and lose and accept defeat like you did. Okay. And I want to urge the young leaders that we are here. It is time we wake up from our slumber and tell these leaders who are old that we still have solutions to our country and we are rising to the occasion because we believe that we have the solutions to our country. All right. Yes.
Great. And on that note, we're taking another break here on Monday Town Hall session. When we come back, we're now looking for solutions. I see a lot of your feedback coming through. We're trying to scroll some of them underneath my screen because I can't read all of them, but I'll try and squeeze in a few. Use the hashtag Monday Report at Trevor Mbidget, Citizen TV Kenya. 22422 is the SMS line in case you need to send more than 140 characters. We'll sample some of that after this break.